welcome to this new video for my channel, The Mental Traveler. I'm Caro Herrera, and today I'm going to be reviewing the 5 books that make the Godfather series. I read them in the chronological order of the narrative. That's how I'm going to present them in a spoiler-free video, so you can sit back and enjoy. The first one is The Family Corleone by Ed Falco, published in 2012. The second one is The Godfather by Mario Puzo from 1969. Then comes The Sicilian, also by Mario Puzo, which came out in 1984. The fourth one is The Godfather Returns, written by Mark Weingartner from 2004. Finally, there is The Godfather's Revenge, also by Mark Weingartner and published in 2006. I've loved the Godfather movies since I was 10 years old, but it took me years until I read the Godfather book. And even though I was already in college, I don't think I really got everything that was going on because I really only remembered 2 things about it. And I guess that was just because they were shocking things that don't happen in the movies. Anyways, last week I finally felt like I should reread The Godfather, and when I discovered that other people had written books that take place in this universe, I thought that I should check them all out. The Family Corleone is set during the Great Depression, which is a period the first film doesn't cover. Thus, we get to learn different things, like how Don Vito Corleone started to become really powerful in higher circles, as well as how Sonny, his oldest son, got into the family business. Another storyline that's covered is the background of the famous Luca Brasi, and how did it came to happen that he came to work for Don Corleone. The Godfather is a novel that started it all. This is a book that inspired the first 2 movies, and while I think they are both very good adaptations of this book, in the end there are some changes, as well as having a lot of stories expanded upon in this material. The Sicilian is only considered part of the Godfather books because Michael Corleone appears from time to time in it. It's set during the end of his exile in Sicily during the events of the first movie, but in reality this is a novel about a man who really did exist, Salvatore Giuliano, a Sicilian bandit that was considered by many a sort of Robin Hood figure. The Godfather Returns is set during 1955 to 1962, thus we get to see what happened between the first and second movie with Michael Corleone. I wish to point out that I like the way this book came about. Random House had this contest where authors could send the premise and a sample chapter for The Godfather's sequel, and Mark Weingartner won the contest. So we get to see his take on these events and characters. He expands on what Tom Hagen, Fredo Corleone, and Johnny Fontaine were up to during this time, as well as invent his own characters, including a new rival for Don Corleone, who happens to be an insignificant character in the first film, as well as this political family that shares a lot of similarities with the Kennedys. The Godfather's Revenge is a sequel to The Godfather's Return. Thus, we get to see unresolved issues from the previous novel being brought to a conclusion here, as well as learning about new conflicts. There isn't a book that covers the events of the third movie in this series, but I hope that one day a novelization will be commissioned. I really like all of the books, and I read them all in a week, so those were some very dark 7 days that I spent in this underground world. I did like some more than others, and there are a lot of inconsistencies between them, particularly with what happens to certain characters or events. An example could be Tom Hagen or Sonny Corleone. We get like 3 different versions of how they met. Overall though, I think that unless you are a really die-hard fan of The Godfather or you really like to read, then I don't really necessarily recommend you to read the novels, seeing as the movies are just perfection and you can be satisfied with that. I think I do prefer the movies to the books though. Still, I think I would like to give a quick review of all the 5 novels before I wrap up this video. The Family Corleone. I give it 4 out of 5 stars review. I thought it was well researched and it kept me entertained. The Godfather. This one is the one that started it all, and it was my favorite of this series. It's not perfect, the writing style is not outstanding, and I think Puzo does a bad job of writing women, particularly Connie Corleone in one scene, but I was in awe of how it manages to present this dark world to perfection. Thus, a 5 out of 5 stars review. It's so vast and it covers so much that if you enjoy the movies, then you'll enjoy learning even more stuff about these beloved characters. In The Sicilian, I thought it was interesting to learn more about this island, and it even inspired a movie, which I have not seen. I give it a 3.5 stars out of 5. I think The Godfather's Return was my least favorite one. I didn't like the author's take on the character of Fredo at all, but his expansion of the characters of Tom Hagen and Johnny Fontaine was interesting. I did like though his take on what happens to Francesca Corleone, who is one of the twin daughters of Sonny. I like it because I think the author made a good job of writing her character development. So yeah, anyways, a 3 out of 5 stars I think. In The Godfather's Revenge, this is the conclusion, and it was full of surprises, particularly the fate of Francesca Corleone, which I was not expecting and I did like. The only thing I do want to criticize about it is that way the author handled the aftermath of Tom Hagen's death. But other than that, I give it a 4 out of 5 stars review. Well, for the moment, this is all I have to say about the Godfather books. Please let me know if you enjoyed my review of them or not. Hoping you did. But also, I'd love to talk about it with you, so please share your own thoughts on the Corleone family with me. But right now, you can find links to the novel's Goodreads pages. Anyways, I'm Caro Herrera, the Mental Traveler, and I hope you have a wonderful day in whatever little corner of the world you find yourself in. I'll be seeing you soon. Goodbye.